Hi, I'm Tom from Advocult Motorsport, and this is my RX7.
There's coldness there, there's karma. There's heat, there's flames, there's lava. Volcanic, what can we do? It gets manic. I know what I'd rather. When I pick up the mic, it's power. When I pick up the mic, got powers. When I pick up the mic, it's power. When I pick up the mic, got powers. Powers.
Can I have my coffee? Oh yeah, so Jake makes a good coffee as well.
Right, you ready? So this car has been many things, and it's not done any of them very well. But the time has come for it to, I suppose, serve a greater purpose. We are known for being a bit of a Rotary specialist. We do a lot of RX7 work. We've got a few in here at the moment. Sometimes I fall out of love with this car a little bit. And because it's been so many things, it's difficult to focus on what to do with it next. But we need to turn it into an advert for the business. I need to use it as a learning platform to push myself. And it's a great way to try new things and to learn. Previously, it's been a road car, a drift car, a track-looking show car, and it's always been around 400 horsepower, standard drivetrain, nothing too crazy, but it's always looked nice. It's always done well, what I've made it do. But now we're going to build it into a bit of a track monster. This is the target. It needs to be something that is all-out performance, but at the same time looks good while it's doing it. So we've decided we're going to go all out, and we stripped everything down to a bare shell. Jason Clark at Clark Custom Fabs welded us a roll cage to our spec. Very basic spec, nothing too crazy. It's not pulled into the front of the engine bay or anything like that. It's just nice and clean. And we've undersealed all of the car, chopped the boot out for a Radium fuel cell, chopped the rear arches so they're all tubbed and so we can get more wheel clearance inside. This is all really basic stuff just so that we can make the car function as well as possible. Also, a little while ago, I decided to chop the front end off. Now, if I'm being completely honest, I fully regret that decision. And unless you have to, I would not recommend tube framing the front of your car, just because it makes everything so much more complex. There is so much more work involved that you just, in essence, we didn't really need to do. But it has also opened up some options for larger cooling capacity and things like this that we can look into, and I'm quite excited to go through that. We'll be working with Andy Frost at IceFab, and that's looking really exciting. But so far we are caged, carpeted, the fuel cell is in, the interior is painted, and apart from that it's very, very basic. We've got a lot of the rough bodywork lined out as well. We've got some of the front space frame done, but this is the solid base. We can kind of go in any direction we want now. So the hard work is really done, which is a bit of a shame because we didn't film a lot of it. But as we start adding things like the Haltech ECU system, all of the fueling products, the turbo system, all the cooling packages, these are more of the kind of parts that our customers are interested in buying and interested in gaining some of the knowledge of why you would put in some items over others. So this is the point where it's definitely a good idea for us to start filming. But yeah, let's go around the car and have a look at some of the parts in finer detail. That's a very wobbly bonnet. So, the bit that most people are going to care about is what engine, I suppose what drivetrain are we using. We are going to use a 2-rotor 13B. Now, I have a brand new Mazda crate engine, which we are going to tear down with our engine building partner, Garagereg, or Uncle Colum, as I know him. So we're starting from fresh. Everything is new. We'll tear it down, do some magic porting, some other magic bits, and we want to make the engine capable of about 600 to 700 horsepower. I'll probably just run it somewhere between 5 and 6, this should be more than capable for the rest of the car. So yeah, normal 2-rotor. We are building our own inlet manifold, which we kind of have a 3D mock-up of here. So we'll be using the top half of the stock upper inlet manifold, a weld-on flange, and then relocating the throttle body to the center of the engine here. Now, normally your throttle body is all the way over here, but we're doing something different with the cooling package. So we wanted to move that throttle body a little bit closer, try something new. It highlights some of the custom engineering that we can do. Whether or not it works, we can prove that on the dyno, and I'm going to do a few different revisions, but that's much later down the line. So the cooling package is quite different for us. Normally on an RX7 we would run a V-mount kit, but because of this space frame, which is not finished, it's mostly tacked together. We still have to do a bottom half and tie it into the anti-roll bar mounts. We have all this space for cooling packages, whereas on a standard RX7 it is a little bit compact. So we're going to be stacking intercooler next to a radiator, both at a 25-degree incline, and this means there is very little thermal transfer between the two. It gives the air its own path through each cooling system, and then we'll tie this in with very nice ducting in through and out of the bonnet. The oil coolers will also be integrated into this system, so it's a really nice enclosed cooling package. This is something new for us, but it's quite exciting. We'll be working with Andy at ICE Bespoke Fabrications on that. We've got this all designed, so we can go through some of the designs on that as well. But apart from that, it's a really simple engine bay setup, just simple 13B, electric water pump. This is now, we've designed our own electric water pump adapter, and also a side mount alternator kit using a Volkswagen alternator, self-regulating 180 amps, so it's much more amps than the stock alternator can do. And there won't be a lot more else in there. It's going to be really, really simple. Big BorgWarner turbo, wastegate on turbo, which is something I'm a big fan of. So we're going to be designing some products to make that easier for the DIYer at home. So yeah, a couple of things that we're trying for the first time, a couple of things that we know work, but a lot of design work involved in getting this right and making it work effectively and be serviceable. Like, it's so important when we see builds quite often where they've got all the right parts, but you can't get to them, you can't maintain them, you know, you can't change your alternator without taking your engine out, and serviceability has to be a primary thought. So that's really going into everything we're designing for this. And pop-ups. Gotta keep the pop-ups. Oh yeah, we're in. Oh. Gearbox. Okay, so here we have an 8 HP 45. I think, is it 45? 8 HP 50. So this is the same gearbox that is in M240i BMWs, M140i's. I think it's also the same box that is in the Supra. We are going, obviously this is an automatic 8-speed gearbox. This conversion is becoming more and more popular. We're going to be using the Turbo Lamic controller. We can integrate this into the Haltech system, and the advantage of this is when we are changing gear, we will always be in the power band. Now, I've owned an M240i, and normally being a big fan of 90s Japanese stuff where every braking event feels like you're going to die, that's what I find exciting. So I've never really been interested in the modern BMW stuff, but having owned one, they're just incredible. The driving experience is so different. So I really wanted to try and use a Rotary with this kind of driveline setup, because I think in my head it will be incredible. and so far I know a couple of people are going through the conversion, so we won't be the first to do it, but I think we will have a bit of a unique platform with this setup. So really excited to try this. We're sticking with stock differential, stock rear end. We may beef up some of the drive shafts. We'll have to have a custom prop shaft, but really excited to try this. We'll have a stock BMW shifter and also flappy paddles. But yeah, it's really excited to try this. It's going to be something very different for the RX7 community, and I think once we can prove how well it will work, I think a lot of people will want to throw this into their RX7. Really exciting stuff with this. Gosh darn it. Oh. Lovely. It looks tiny next to that gearbox. So this is the brand new Mazda crate engine. Now there's videos going around on YouTube of people that have disassembled new Mazda crate engines and with questionable build quality, but that doesn't matter. We have bought this for brand new rotors, housings, irons, everything. So we are starting from scratch because with this build we're going to be doing a few things for the first time, and I quite like the idea of, as long as we don't have a catastrophic failure, then there's engine parts that can face having a regrind or being resurfaced and we can go again. Wheels. Stay. So one of the most important things about any car, doesn't matter what you're using it for, is wheels. Wheels can make or break a car. Now at the moment we've got some Japan racing wheels that I've had forever. They were on a previous revision of the car. You'll notice there's a rotiform aero disc, which I haven't 100% made my mind up. I think I love them in the right situation. So I've got one to try, and we can 3D print an adapter to fit any wheel to make them work, so that's fine. So they every now and then I just put them on and I look at them and I go in different directions all the time. But these are a one-off wheel. I designed these myself about 2 years ago. They are undrilled, unfinished. They were made from a single billet. There's a lot of weight that we can take out of these depending on what offset we go for. I have a pair of 9.5s and a pair of 10.5s. They're both ET0. So the idea was we would use these wheels because they're a known dimension to work out our offsets, and then I can have these machined to fit. But also I will end up having a set that is, you know, if I want a track set and a road set, because we will be making the car road legal. It was a bit of a new idea to design our own wheels, and we did have the idea of starting a wheel company, the ideas for the future, but this car was always meant to be a proving ground, and this was the first set, so I have no idea what colour I'm going to do them, or how it's going to look, or if I'm even going to use them in the end, but they're here, so we can throw them on at some point once we've decided on offset. And yeah, really excited by that, because it's nice to have something that no one else has. Nothing is bolted down, Josh. And my body is so old. See? Multi-purpose vehicle. So this is the interior. It's a little different to a stock RX7. And now some people are going to say, if it's a race car, why is there carpet? It was never built to be the ultimate all-out race car. This car is an advert for our business and what is possible for certain areas of the car. So I'm going to be driving it to events, and some people don't want just metal everywhere. I don't know if you've been in an all-out, stripped out race car. It is horrible. Unless you are just fully focused on what's in front of you and going 1,000 miles an hour, the rest of the experience is horrible. So we've gone for a slightly softer touch, got a thermal and acoustic barrier underneath, and then just very simple carpet. So once the interior bits are in, both seats are in, it will look quite comfortable in here. We've also got a custom designed dashboard, which we designed in-house using our 3D scanning. At the moment, this cowl is a bit of a test, and originally we were using a Haltech RX7 dash. Now we'll be swapping to the later, larger model, so this will need to be redesigned. We've also got a screen here for a Raspberry Pi, because we're not going to have physical side mirrors. We're going to have cameras either side, and this will display either camera feed. But the whole idea of this interior is to be simple, clean, and not horrible. I think that's the best way I can explain it. So even simple things like we've got some interior panels and the door cards, they will be made from aluminium. We have them, but they're going to be wrapped in the same material that is on the dashboard, so you still have that soft touch. I suppose the overall goal is for it to feel like, you know, a Porsche GT3, a cup car. That's the target. That's what we're going to try and reach. Hopefully we get there. There's still a lot of refinement to do in here, but so far, really happy with how it's coming together. So let's have a look at the fuel system next. Now, this was difficult because, to be honest, there are going to be very few occasions where I need to access the boot compartment because we have a Radium fuel cell, which I'll show you shortly, but to fill it, the filling area is going to be here as part of the rear Lexan, and also the breather system will be here. So unless I'm actually carrying luggage, which I think will be very rare, there won't really be a requirement to open the tailgate. But we will need to be able to get in there for serviceability. So because I didn't want this enormous race car wing to be 10 foot back, we've had to make a few compromises. So the way this will work is the front mounting bolts will be on locking fins, which will be easily removable. At the moment, we've just got some M6 bolts in there. And then to open the tailgate, you will simply rotate the wing backwards, and then the tailgate will lift and it will be on the suspended lifters. So we'll be able to get in there quite easily. This will need a little bit of finessing. We're not quite there with it yet, but we've kind of only just softly assembled it. But yeah, so this is the Radium fuel cell. Now, we are a main distributor for Radium. We absolutely love their products. We try and put them in everything we can because the quality is just exceptional. And it's more affordable than people think. When you are buying quality equipment like this, it can be surprisingly affordable. And also it prevents you from having to buy stuff twice. So it's going to be a really simple system. This is a 10-gallon fuel cell. We'll have a triple pump system in here, which has got a built-in surge tank, and then all the fuel lines will just run underneath the car to the engine at the front. Really nice and simple and clean. So the last thing to talk about regarding the car is the bodywork. Now, it is a massive collection of so many different manufacturers' parts. We've got feed front wings, which are chopped because we've still got to design a vent system here. We've got our own aluminium folded side skirts, and they are on top of Pan Speed side skirts from Japan. This is probably the most expensive bit of bodywork I've ever bought. But because we're using an REM EMEA front bumper, the side profile, the skirts weren't low enough, so we had to add our own little extensions, and still not 100% convinced on this design, but we may come back to that. The rear over fenders, in all honesty with you, I don't know what they are. I think I bought them from eBay a couple of years ago, and I really like the style, so we've just kind of stuck with them. And then bonnet is OEM. We've got a vent for the turbo side because it gets very hot there, and then we've still got to cut an entire vent out the center. The tailgate is fiberglass. I've no idea who made it. Most of these parts are just things that we've collected over time. And I've had so many different variations, but I've kind of narrowed down on what I like. If the budget allowed for it, I would absolutely love a TCP Magic kit. So if anyone from TCP Magic watches this and feels like they want to give a body kit away, I'm here. But yeah, the rear bumper is stock. Obviously we have an enormous wing. There's going to be an enormous front splitter. We're going full flat underbody with a huge rear diffuser. So yeah, it's gonna look unique, which I like. The whole point of the car is to stand out and for people to know that it's ours, and for parts on it to be interesting, but also to function. So it's this car, its primary purpose is to be a conversation piece, and to prove that we know what we're doing, to prove that there is life in the Rotary engine, because it's a community that seems to be getting smaller and more refined, and to learn, to stretch ourselves, to do something different. Now, originally, we were building this car for UK time attack, but I think, to be honest, we're going to use it as a tool to get closer to our customers. So we're going to be doing a lot of YouTube content on this. We also want to attend hill climb events, open track days, sprint events, a lot more car and trade shows as well, just so that we can try and build this racing cult and Advocult motorsport community. Maybe doing some things with other YouTubers. One of our friends, Andy Frost, he likes to take his drift car drag racing. It's 1,000 brake horsepower S14, so you know, we could do a track car versus drift car round whichever track, around Donington or something. This is something that we want to be able to prove the platform of the Rotary engine, try new things, test ourselves, meet new customers, and hopefully gain some customers as well. This car is something that will force us to do things for the first time, which is the best way to learn. So it's a learning, marketing, fun platform. And you never know, maybe we will enter time attack, but for the next 12 months, it's more of a tool to get out and meet you guys. We will do an update very shortly. Promise. I'm not just going to do this video and then you'll never see another one, because I've done that 3 times now. Tell your nan, because I know your nan watches YouTube in the kitchen on a smart TV that you bought her for Christmas that she doesn't know how to use. Thank you.